Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, Functional Medicine Center. Excited to talk to you today about blood pressure, something that we see in a lot of patients. High blood pressure is an issue, low blood pressure is an issue. Ideal blood pressure is where we want it to be. That 120 over 80 is a really good range to be into, but low can be just as problematic as high. So here we go. We're going to talk about the high blood pressure and 5 things that you can do to decrease blood pressure now without taking medication. Because here's the slippery slope that I see with people all the time is once they go on one blood pressure medication, they usually have to go on another, and then they're trying this one and trying that one. And it's let's roll the dice and see what works. So welcome everybody. Thanks for jumping on. Drop down below where you're watching from, all over the country, all over the world. We had Germany a couple days ago, all over the place. So welcome. Let me know if you are taking any blood pressure medication, and if you've got any questions on that, and if you're having any side effects, any issues at all. So here we go. Blood pressure is really, really important. And think about it like this. If you're turning on the hose and you turn that faucet on and the hose is made out of just regular hose material, you can turn it up and it'll shoot out far. You can turn it down low and it'll just drip out right here. If you have low blood pressure, that's like that hose is made out of balloon material. So you turn it up real high and it's going to that expands, that balloon material expands, and that water just drips out there. Hey Carolyn, good to see you there in West Virginia. That water just kind of drips out. And Addie and Evergreen and Carol, good to see you too. And so low blood pressure is like not getting blood around the body. But high blood pressure is, hey there, good to see you in the Philippines and Montana as well. So here we go. High blood pressure is like a PVC pipe. So it's this narrow PVC pipe. You turn it on and it goes and really shoots out. And so that's the problem with that high blood pressure is it's creating this extra force going through the system and causing different issues in there. So here's some things that you can do. One of the common things that you hear all the time is to eat less salt, and that salt is bad for your blood pressure and you want to eat less salt. And I'm going to say yes, eat less salt, but eat less of the wrong salt and more of the right salt. So for years we've had actually people increase their salt intake, and especially if they're using the Grain and Salt Society's Celtic Sea Salt. You can get this online, health food stores, whatever you want to do, but it's called Celtic Sea Salt, over 80 different electrolytes and minerals, and it's by far, anytime labs assay salt, it has the most amount of minerals and electrolytes in there. So it's the best salt you can get. Use that on a regular basis, but you want to decrease table salt, sodium and chloride and iodine they throw in there. That's like Hungry Man meals, that's any of the prepared, processed, eating out, any of those foods is going to have a lot of salt in that, and that's going to raise that blood pressure. Research shows that if you decrease the bad salt in your diet, it's like taking 1.5 to 2 medications for blood pressure. So it'll actually lower that blood pressure. So get rid of the bad salt, but add in the good salt. So it's not just don't salt anything. Carol, Himalayan, it's okay, but it's not going to have the value that the Celtic Sea Salt does. It's not going to have the amount of electrolytes and minerals. I have not seen it work as well. Good to see you up there in Estes, Michelle. I was just up there on what was that, Friday of last week. It was a pretty day. So we want to eat less of the bad salt, more of the good salt. Okay, number 2, you want to stabilize your blood sugar. 99% of the time, if I see somebody with high blood pressure, I know that their blood sugar is also going up too high. We've got to stabilize that blood sugar. Most of the time, they're having blood sugar spikes. They're pre-diabetic, diabetic, blood sugar is going up too high. When we stabilize that blood sugar, get it between that 80 and 110, the vast majority of time, that blood pressure starts coming down. Debbie, what about real salt? Again, it just doesn't come out as well as the Celtic salt. It just doesn't have the minerals and electrolytes in there. If you look at some of the lab assays and what we've seen with our patients, it's just not as constructive. So blood sugar, we've got to get that. You know, they talk about this DASH diet, Mediterranean diet, all that stuff. Whatever, as long as your blood sugar is stabilized. You could do keto, vegan, paleo, carnivore, Mediterranean, whatever it is. But if your blood sugar is not balanced like it's supposed to be, it doesn't matter. You've got to keep that blood sugar as steady as possible. That's going to stabilize your glucose, and that's going to help that blood pressure come down. Number 3, sometimes easier said than done, is to decrease your body weight. We know that if people lose their weight, hey Patty, good to see you down there in Phoenix. If people lose body weight, we know that their blood pressure is going to go down. That's just naturally occurring thing. But it's not always easy losing weight. So what do you have to do? Well, 1, you've got to stabilize your blood sugar. 2, you've got to get rid of your inflammation because remember, you cannot out-exercise or out anything a poor diet. So if your diet is not where it needs to be, there's no amount of cutting calories, there's no amount of exercise, anything else that's going to make you lose weight. We see patients lose 5, 10, 15, even 20 pounds in the first 30 days because their inflammation starts going down. So that's what we've really got to do is we've got to get this inflammation down, and ultimately that weight comes down as well. A lot of you may not like to hear number 4, decrease your alcohol. So alcohol, a lot of research showing that alcohol will actually contribute to excess blood pressure, and it's going to jack with your blood sugar, all types of different things. So alcohol consumption is really not constructive if you are having high blood pressure. And then number 5, you've got to get physical, you've got to get moving, get that body going, and that's going to be a huge part of this process is to get your body moving, get the heart rate going. 2 things that we have to do is we have to get enough activity so that we're getting our heart rate up, but not too much that you're fatiguing the adrenals. Patricia, what about genetics? My best friend weighs 95 pounds, high blood pressure and high cholesterol. It doesn't just have to do with weight, Patricia. We'll see skinny people that have blood sugar imbalances, that are diabetic, all types of different things. So I almost guarantee you there are some underlying imbalances, and it's not just genetics. Yes, genetics can play into it, but it's not just it. There's a lot of people that have breast cancer genes, and they don't ever have to develop breast cancer. So it's not a given that everybody in the family's got blood pressure issues. They've got to have blood pressure. It doesn't work that way. It's what we're still doing day in and day out to express this. So getting physical, you want to get that heart rate 180 minus your age, and you want to go enough to where you're pushing it and you're actually getting your heart rate elevated, but you don't want to go past that and you don't want to go too long. You do either of those, you're going to stress your adrenals and crash down. Caroline, Celtic Sea Salt. It's like the Boston Celtics. It's like that with a C. So the Celtic Sea Salt is called the Grain and Salt Society is the company that manufactures that. They actually get it from the ocean water in outside Paris and France, and they, in these clay holding pins, they let the water naturally evaporate. The wind blows off the water, naturally evaporates, and they rake up the salt that's left over, and that's how it has so much nutritional value in it. So here we go. Eat less salt, but more of the good salt. So less bad salt, less of the salt that has sodium and potassium, magnesium, all those good minerals we need in that good salt. The bad salt, just the sodium and chloride and iodine, is not. That's going to throw our blood pressure out of balance. You want to stabilize that blood sugar, get your weight down by getting your inflammation down, decrease your alcohol consumption, and get physical. You've got to move each and every single day. So great seeing you guys. If you have any questions on blood pressure, pop down below. If you need more help with that, Phoenix, Fort Collins, Nashville, give us a holler. We can help you with any of these issues. Take care, guys.